Good morning, Fish Lake Valley, June 21st. It's actually the 22nd, but my batteries were dead on the 21st. So, I'm going to record the summer solstice sunrise here in Fish Lake Valley. This is my rock marking my standing point. And further down, you'll see those cinder blocks. They'll be my point where my shadow strikes. On the furthest north the sun travels. You can see the mountains there. The sun is already shining on them, but it hasn't risen here. I'm looking to the west-southwest, looking to the south, and then over to the east, and that's where the sun's going to come up there in the east-northeast. And then looking north at my house. So we're a couple of minutes away from sunrise. Back to the northeast, the east, over to the south, southwest, south-southwest. So, this is the rock that I've set years ago. I'm going to confirm it. It should line up with this rock right here, and then it'll line up with my cinder blocks, the 3 cinder blocks over there. Oops, I got that pressure tank in front of my well house. I took that out a couple weeks ago with a friend of mine, Charles, and replaced it. It had a small leak in it. So now I have 2 119-gallon pressure tanks. So my well can pre-charge those tanks up to 60 gallons in between cycles. So once they're full, the well cuts off, and 60 gallons later, the well will cut back on and fill them back up. So the well doesn't have to cycle very often. So it's about 54 degrees out here right now. Let me check the time. Oh, 5:52. Time for a sip of the Java. I think it's going to happen here in the next 3 minutes. I'm hooked on that stuff. So you can see the sun hitting the mountains long before it hits the valley floor here. It'll be coming down the hill, and then when it hits me, my shadow will stretch out from this point across that rock, white rock, and to the center of my cinder block cluster. It's 2018, June 22nd. I'm going to have to make this permanent someday. The main thing is getting the marks. 5:53. Once you get the marks, then you can have the lines and then put in a permanent structure. This is basically what is known as a Gothic circle, and they were discovered in Europe, the earliest known ones, about 5000 BC. So they knew when the longest day of the year was, and the winter solstice and the equinoxes, and they could also determine where true north was. And that way they knew when to plant. Because if you plant your seed too early and the crop comes up and it freezes, now what are you going to do? Your seed is used up and your plants are dead. It could be a matter of survival for you. So these Gothic circles were very important. Back then, religion-wise, Christianity hadn't been discovered, and even a lot of the religions that preceded Christianity had not been created yet. So they were called pagans. And paganism is not devil worship, it's just the worship of nature. And these, the movement of the sun across the heavens, it was something that was considered sacred. But there was no real God involved or gods. It was more just the natural world. Anyway, that's my pump house, my shed, my tool shed over here to the northwest, and my barn. No animals. My little trailer, my chicken coops behind that, and my ham radio tower with nothing on it right now. I took everything down, and I'll be putting a new antenna up probably this summer, hopefully. And my house, my 2007 Dodge pickup truck, my Cummins diesel 3/4 ton, and my 2010 RAV4, probably the last vehicles I'll have. And looking to the north and then back to the northeast, still no sun. Oh, at Gilltown you can see my property's all fenced in, 5 acres. That's my little weather station. And another little weather station. And back to the southwest, a few trees that were left. There was a whole row of trees on this south side here, but when the well failed, they died. That was before I bought this place in the year January 2000. So you can see the sun has really come down the mountain now. Those are the White Mountains. Actually, the foothills of the White Mountains. Oh, there's my alarm. I thought the sun would be up by now. Let me turn you off. All right, almost 6 o'clock. I'm going to take a pause here until the sun comes up.